Tell me this, have you ever promised yourself you'd finally change, only to slip back into the same habits a few weeks later? You swore you'd wake up earlier, control your emotions, stop wasting time, but then life got loud again, and before you knew it, you were back where you started. Why does this happen? Why do two people face the same storm? One collapses, while the other grows stronger. The difference isn't luck. It isn't fate. The difference is mindset. It's not the storm outside that destroys us. It's the storm inside that we keep feeding. And this is why Stoicism matters more today than ever. Not as some cold philosophy in a book, but as practical training for your mind in a world full of chaos. It doesn't beg you to feel good. It demands that you become strong. But I won't sugarcoat this. The truths you'll hear today aren't comfortable. They will cut through excuses. They will confront the comforts you've been protecting. They will break illusions before they build strength. So let me ask you again, are you ready? Not ready to listen, but ready to change. If the answer is yes, breathe with me for a moment. Feel your chest rise. Feel the air fill your lungs. Remember, you are still alive, and that means the story isn't finished. Because once you fix your mind, the rest of your life follows. That's the promise. That's the path. And it begins now. If you feel that spark inside right now, drop it in the comments. I'm ready. Because the moment you declare it, you stop just watching and start becoming. Number 1, stop bargaining with weakness. Have you ever noticed how every morning starts with a negotiation? The alarm rings, and suddenly you're in court with yourself. One voice says, just 5 more minutes, you deserve it. Another whispers, get up, it's time. Which one usually wins? That tiny decision, those few stolen minutes, seem harmless, but that's the trap. Excuses rarely arrive wearing chains. They arrive dressed as kindness. Rest a little longer. Tomorrow will be easier. One last time won't matter. And without realizing it, you're not just losing minutes. You're slowly trading away your future. Excuses don't shout. They whisper. They don't fight you head on. They charm you into surrender. And every time you bargain with them, they grow stronger while you grow weaker. Until one day you don't just make excuses, you become them. The Stoics knew this danger well. They trained for adversity, because comfort is a silent killer. Every hardship resisted was a victory for the soul. Every no to weakness was a yes to becoming unshakable. I once slept for an entire month without even enough money to buy a blanket. Later, that became one of my most valuable memories. Every time I face hardship, I remind myself, the worst days are already behind me. So ask yourself, when temptation rises, will you argue with it, justify it, give it another chance? Or will you cut it down before it breathes? Because peace has a price, greatness has a cost, and the down payment is always discipline. Take one breath with me. Inhale deeply, hold it, and release. That is what choosing strength feels like. Simple, clear, no bargaining, just action. Here's the truth worth remembering. Excuses don't just waste your time, they steal your identity. The moment you stop negotiating with weakness, you begin negotiating with destiny. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Number 2, master your reactions before they master you. Let me ask you this. How many times has one small thing ruined your entire day? A careless comment, a rude driver, a message that didn't get answered. Suddenly your chest feels heavy, your mind spins, and the whole world looks darker. But here's the truth. It wasn't the event that broke you. It was your reaction. 2 people can hear the exact same insult. One laughs and lets it vanish into thin air. The other carries it like a knife in the heart for weeks. Same words, 2 completely different prisons. That's because pain doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from how you choose to interpret it. Most people live like puppets on invisible strings. Tug them with traffic, they explode. Pull them with gossip, they spiral. Nudge them with failure, they collapse. That's not power, that's slavery. And worst of all, it makes you predictable. Anyone who learns your triggers can control your life. There was a time, buried in debt, when a creditor stood in front of me in a crowded cafe, cursing and humiliating me. My fists tightened, but I didn't strike back. That day I realized my reaction was the only asset I had left, and I chose to protect it. A Stoic flips this script. Instead of being pulled, they pause. That pause is where freedom lives. It's the space between impulse and choice. In that space, you can decide, is this worth my peace? Is this worth my dignity? 99% of the time, the answer is no. Breathe. Slow the storm down. Step outside of it for just 3 seconds. Notice the difference between what happened and the story you're telling yourself about it. She said something rude. That's fact. I'm worthless. That's fiction. Most suffering is nothing more than fiction we've agreed to believe. Here's the shift. The more you control your reactions, the less the world controls you. You stop being baited. You stop being a puppet. You stop handing your power to strangers who don't even know your name. And here's the line to burn into your mind. Your peace is never up for auction unless you put it on the table. So the next time someone pushes your buttons, smile inside and remember, you are not their puppet. You are the one holding the strings. Number 3. Do what's hard when you least want. To be honest with yourself, how many times have you known exactly what to do and still didn't do it? You knew you should work out, but you scrolled instead. You knew you should say no, but you said yes to keep the peace. You knew you should focus, but you let distraction win. The problem isn't knowledge. The problem is that you're waiting to feel like it. Feelings are unreliable guides. They beg for comfort. They resist effort. They scream when things get uncomfortable. If you only act when you feel good, you'll never go anywhere worth going. Motivation is a mood. It comes and goes like weather. Discipline is a choice. It stays. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They trained their minds to expect resistance. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while sick, tired, and grieving. He didn't wait to feel ready. He acted because duty mattered more than mood. To pay my university tuition, I worked long days delivering packages on an old motorbike. Rain slapped my face, my stomach empty, but I kept going. Those days taught me that emotions don't feed dreams, only action does. Now think about your own life. How many battles have you already lost in your head before you ever tried? How many dreams have you delayed, not because they were impossible, but because they were uncomfortable? Here's the truth. Discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's a signal that you're on the right track. That tightness in your chest before a tough conversation? Growth. That resistance before your workout? Growth. That fear before making a bold decision? Growth. The things you avoid today become the regrets you carry tomorrow. So flip the script. Stop waiting for motivation. Wake up and move, even if your body protests. Speak the truth, even if your voice shakes. Show up when you don't feel like it. Each act is a brick, and brick by brick you build the life you claim to want. And here's the line you'll want to remember. You can suffer the pain of discipline now, or the pain of regret later, but either way, you will suffer. Only one path builds you. So the next time you hesitate, remind yourself, feelings are optional, action is not. Do the hard thing, especially when you least want to. That's where your future is forged. Number 4, guard your focus like a treasure. How many hours have you lost today without even noticing? A quick check of messages, one scroll through social media, a few clicks on headlines, and suddenly the day is gone. You tell yourself you were busy, but deep down you know you weren't building, you were bleeding. Here's the brutal truth. Most people aren't addicted to laziness, they're addicted to noise. They can't sit in silence. They can't stay on one task long enough to master it. Their attention leaks out in 100 directions, and with it goes their potential. A Stoic lives differently. They understood that focus is life itself. Seneca once wrote, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." And isn't that exactly what most of us have become? Everywhere at once, yet nowhere fully alive. Think about your own day. How often are you truly present? When you eat, do you taste? When you listen, do you hear? When you work, are you creating or just pretending while your phone buzzes every 5 minutes? Imagine guarding your focus the way a dragon guards its gold. Every notification that isn't urgent, cut it. Every conversation that wastes your time, close it. Create one sacred hour each day where nothing interrupts you. Not the phone, not the world, not even your own excuses. That single hour, protected fiercely, will rebuild your confidence faster than any motivational video ever could. In the early days of carving wood again, I left my phone locked in a drawer. 10 hours of silence, only me and the timber. That silence built more wealth inside me than years of noise ever did. And here's the irony. Distractions feel harmless, but every one of them is a thief. They don't just steal your time, they steal your clarity, your creativity, your dignity. A distracted mind leads to a distracted life. So let this be your reminder. Your focus is your future. Protect it and you rise. Waste it and you fall. Guard it like a treasure chest no one else has the key to. Because the man or woman who controls their focus doesn't just control their day, they control their destiny. Number 5. Stop begging for approval. How many choices in your life have been delayed, reshaped, or completely abandoned because you were afraid of what people might say? You wanted to change jobs, but you hesitated. You wanted to speak your truth, but you softened it. You wanted to grow, but you stayed small, just to avoid their judgment. Here's the problem. When you live for approval, you live as a prisoner. Every opinion becomes a chain. Every criticism becomes a leash. And every compliment becomes a drug that keeps you dependent. The Stoics taught that self-respect matters more than applause. Marcus Aurelius observed that we love ourselves more than anyone else, yet we value their opinions above our own. Think about that contradiction. You are the one who lives your life, but you hand the steering wheel to people who don't even walk in your shoes. And here's the twist. The more you grow, the more resistance you'll face, not from enemies, but from the people closest to you. Your discipline will expose their laziness. Your courage will highlight their fears. Your silence will disturb their noise. They won't always clap. Sometimes they'll laugh. My own mother once told me, maybe you should give up, find something normal. It cut deep, but I realized her fear wasn't mine to carry. Approval is love when it's true, but a chain when it's fear. And that's when you'll realize approval was never proof of truth. Ask yourself, who are you becoming small for? Who are you staying quiet for? And when your life ends, will their opinion even matter? The day you stop begging for approval is the day you start building without permission. You stop explaining, you stop apologizing. You stop shrinking to fit inside someone else's comfort zone. And here's the line to remember. If you wait for everyone to understand you, you'll wait forever. The world doesn't need to believe in you. It needs you to believe in yourself. So walk your path. Even if you walk it alone, walk it with pride. Because greatness has always been misunderstood at first. Pause for a moment. Look at your own life. By now you've heard 5 laws, and deep down, you know they're true. You can already feel the weight of them pressing against the excuses you've been carrying. But let me ask you this. If you already know, then why haven't you acted? Here's the paradox most people never see. The more wisdom you collect without practice, the weaker you become. Knowledge without action doesn't make you powerful. It makes you heavy. It clutters your mind, but it doesn't change your life. So I'll whisper this to you. Everything you're still waiting for, every freedom you're still chasing, it's waiting for you. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. And if the first 5 laws have challenged your comfort, the next ones will challenge your very identity. If this truth is hitting you hard, share this video with one person who needs it, because strength multiplies when it's passed on. Number 6. Silence is a superpower. When was the last time you regretted saying too little? Rarely. But how many times have you regretted saying too much? Words once spoken cannot be taken back. They expose your fears, reveal your plans, and often give power to people who don't deserve it. We live in an age of constant noise. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants the last word. Everyone wants to look wise, even if they haven't taken the time to be wise. But the louder the crowd gets, the more powerful silence becomes. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. The one who listens learns. The one who pauses sees more. The one who speaks less is rarely trapped by their own words. A Stoic does not rush to explain, justify, or defend. They allow space. They allow mystery. They allow their actions to carry the weight that words often cannot. Think about this. Silence protects your energy from meaningless arguments. It shields your dignity from emotional outbursts. It keeps your strategy hidden until the right time. When you stay silent, people don't know how to read you, and that unsettles them more than any speech could. Once, I went with Jonas to meet a group of wealthy clients. They doubted me, mocked my craft, tested my patience. I didn't argue. I let them examine the details of my work. In the end, it was my silence that earned their respect. And here's the twist. While others chase attention, your silence builds presence. While they talk about their goals, you build yours quietly in the dark. While they waste breath proving themselves, you conserve power by becoming yourself. So the next time you feel the urge to overshare, to respond instantly, to explain yourself into exhaustion, remember this line. Your silence doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're too strong to waste words. Let others perform. Let others shout. You, stay still. You, stay grounded. You, let silence speak for your strength. Because when your silence is disciplined, your presence becomes unforgettable. Number 7, own your mistakes without shame. How many nights have you laid awake replaying the same regret in your head? The words you shouldn't have said, the years you wasted, the person you let go. Most people try to bury their mistakes under excuses, distractions, or fake positivity. But buried mistakes don't disappear, they rot. The Stoics believed that mistakes are not curses, but chisels. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Your mistakes are not proof that you are broken. They are proof that you are still being shaped. Here's the difference. Weak people hide their failures and blame others. Strong people face their failures and rise stronger. Hiding keeps you stuck. Owning sets you free. Think about your past honestly. Did you stay too long in a toxic relationship? Own it. Did you procrastinate on opportunities that could have changed your life? Own it. Did you betray your own standards when nobody was watching? Own it. Not with shame, not with guilt, but with courage. Because shame chains you to the past, but ownership transforms it into fuel. Owning your mistakes doesn't mean drowning in regret. It means standing up and saying, "Yes, I failed, but I will never stay down." I spent nearly 10 years chasing status, money, attention, fleeting pleasures, and then, in an instant, I lost it all. I don't erase that chapter of my life because it taught me this. False glory may come fast, but it abandons you even faster. And here's the truth worth burning into your heart. The scars you hide in shame are the very proof that you've lived, learned, and survived. So stop pretending you've been perfect. Stop rewriting the story to make yourself look cleaner. Look in the mirror, see the truth, and rise from it. Because the moment you own your mistakes, they stop owning you. Number 8. Let discomfort train you. Be honest. How quickly do you run the moment life feels uncomfortable? A little boredom, and you reach for your phone. A little sadness, and you drown it in food, shows, or noise. A little uncertainty, and you panic, overthink, spiral. Most people spend their entire lives building escape routes instead of building strength. But discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the teacher. It's the silent gym where your character is trained. Muscles only grow when they are torn. Minds only sharpen when they are tested. Hearts only expand when they are broken. When Kai first handed me an axe, my palms blistered and bled. I wanted to quit. He just said, "Good. Pain means you're learning." He was right. The blisters became strength. The Stoics knew this deeply. Epictetus wrote, "Do not hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. That is the path to peace." It's not about wishing for pain, but learning that resistance is the forge of resilience. Think of a time you faced rejection. It hurt, but it also stripped away illusion. Think of the heartbreak that once crushed you. Didn't it also carve out more depth in your soul? Every delay, every loss, every failure, it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. And here's the irony. The more you run from discomfort, the weaker you become. But the more you face it head-on, the freer you feel. Because the truth is simple. Comfort never trained anyone, but discomfort has built every warrior who ever lived. So the next time you feel the sting of pain or the weight of uncertainty, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this training me for?" And in that question, you'll find a kind of strength that no comfort could ever give you. Look, if avoiding discomfort really worked, I'd already be the king of comfort. I've skipped enough workouts to qualify for the Hall of Fame. But the truth? Every skip just made me weaker, not safer. Number 9, discipline is greater than motivation. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start when I feel motivated"? And how often did that moment never come? Motivation is like the weather, bright one day, stormy the next. If your entire life depends on motivation, then your life depends on moods you cannot control. Discipline is different. Discipline shows up when you don't feel like it. Discipline gets you out of bed when the alarm feels like a curse. In the years rebuilding my life, I woke at 5 a.m. every morning, even when I had no clients, no job, no money. Discipline gave me back the dignity that motivation never could. Discipline makes you keep your word even when nobody is watching. Discipline is not glamorous, but it is unstoppable. The Stoics lived by this truth. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for inspiration to rule an empire. He didn't say, "I'll lead when I feel ready." He led while grieving, while tired, while under constant pressure. Why? Because duty mattered more than feelings. Ask yourself, are you free or are you just emotionally driven? Real freedom is not doing whatever you feel like. Real freedom is mastering yourself so fully that you can act with strength even when every cell in your body screams against it. And here's the secret. Small, boring disciplines compound into greatness. Wake up at the same time. Move your body. Control what you eat. Reflect each night. These are not flashy, but they are the bricks that build an unshakable life. Motivation may hype you for an hour. Discipline builds you for a lifetime. And that's the line to remember. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the spark is gone. So stop waiting for perfect feelings. Stop depending on moods. Build discipline, and you'll never have to chase motivation again, because you'll have become the kind of person who moves forward regardless. Number 10, be who you claim to be. How many times have you said, "I want peace," but still gossiped, argued, or complained? How many times have you claimed, "I value time," but wasted hours scrolling? How many times have you declared, "I'm strong," but surrendered to the same weakness again and again? This is the painful truth. Most people live two lives. The one in their mind, full of clarity, strength, and virtue, and the one in reality, full of contradiction, excuses, and inconsistency. The Stoics refused to play that game. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Philosophy to them was never about talk. It was about action. You don't become disciplined by posting quotes. You become disciplined by living them when nobody is watching. Ask yourself, if a stranger followed you around for 1 week, would your actions match your words? Or would they see a gap between the person you claim to be and the person you actually are? Because the gap between words and actions is where shame is born. But alignment, that harmony between what you say and what you do, that's where peace begins. Once, I told Elena I wanted to be a man of peace. A week later, she caught me shouting at a stranger on the street. That day, I saw the gap between words and actions and decided to close it. And here's the line to etch into your soul. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Stop pretending. Stop performing. Live in a way that even if you never spoke, people could see your values written in your behavior. Every choice, every habit, every moment is a chance to close the gap. To finally become not just the person you imagine, but the person you actually are. So the next time you feel tempted to talk about your plans, pause. Don't announce. Act. Don't argue. Align. Because when your values and actions unite, you don't just live, you live untouchable. Now you've heard the 10 laws. Not soft comforts, not sweet affirmations, but steel truths meant to cut through illusion and rebuild your core. If you apply them, not just hear them, you will stop living as a victim of moods, of people, of circumstance. You'll start living as someone unshakable, calm in storms, steady in chaos, free from approval, free from excuses. Remember this: the path is not easy. It was never meant to be. But ease never built character. Hardship did. Silence did. Discipline did. Alignment did. Take a breath with me. Feel it fill your lungs. That breath is proof. You're still here, still alive, still able to choose. And choice is where all power begins. So don't let this video be just another wave of motivation that fades tomorrow. Take one law. Just one. Apply it today. Then tomorrow, again and again. Action by action, choice by choice, you carve yourself into someone you respect. And here's the truth. I want you to carry long after this ends. Fix your mind, and your life will follow. Always. Don't talk about it. Don't wait for permission. Don't perform for applause. Just embody it. Quietly, consistently, relentlessly. Because when your philosophy is written in your actions, you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You've already become. So now the question is no longer, can I change? The real question is, will I decide? If this message lit something in you, subscribe and stay with us. Not for numbers, but because this journey is easier when we walk it together. The decision is yours. The moment is now.